A partial list of things that can be traumatic or that bad when you're a kid that as an adult or even a teenager you might want to dismiss. Moving away from friends, moving away from family, moving away from a school or any place where you felt like you kind of had a lay of the land, or there were adults or other kids that you connected with emotionally, especially if that connection felt safer or deeper than anything that you had going on with the folks that you lived with or moved to be around. Similarly, a friend moving away, that can be devastating. And anytime there's a change to like the family dynamic, like who all is involved, so divorce is an obvious one, but even if you had, say, an older sibling that moved away to go to college and you were left behind, and then the family dynamic changed, or you sort of lost a resource, and emotional support in that situation. Having adults around who are freaking out about finances or maybe their own like emotional baggage and stuff, even if they aren't talking about it to you, maybe even especially if they're avoiding talking about it. Because for some kids, at least for myself, you sense when something is off. Like you can tell people are stressed out or something's not right and we're not happy, right? But no one will tell you what's going on. So now either your imagination is going to fill in the blanks and probably be worse, or you're just going to be left in this sense of uncertainty and also still picking up on the tension, the stress, whatever. You might not remember some of the tension and stuff that was going on, but a part of you might still. And that part might be like a literal DID part, or it might be your body. If you've ever read The Body Keeps the Score, you know what I'm talking about. So, for instance, my parents got divorced when I was quite young. So even some of our younger parts and like our main trauma holder don't have all of the memories of it because we were very young, but there's enough memory there and there's enough body memory there that it clearly left an impact. We heard some kind of fighting. We understood to some degree that things were not okay before the divorce. Having a relative, especially if it's like a sibling or somebody that you're really close to, going through any kind of medical issues, especially if it involves visits to a hospital or them staying overnight in a hospital. And then likewise, maybe even worse in some ways, if you yourself had medical issues and medical trauma and ended up staying overnight or whatever. But yeah, just being separated from a family member or somebody you're used to being around a lot and knowing that something is really wrong and not having the capacity to understand everything that's happening to them is super scary. And the younger you are when that happens, the scarier and more overwhelming it really is. A lack of emotional resonance or even just emotional IQ in your caregivers. So a parent, let's say, who just isn't very good with their own emotions or has their own baggage that sort of gets in the way. And so they don't properly attune to you. They don't really pick up on your emotional states, or they don't have the skills to teach you how to navigate your emotions. A lack of emotional intimacy or just like resonance can be really big. If you don't feel like your emotions are being understood or heard, or that they're not even acceptable, maybe, that screws you up on some pretty deep levels. A lack of touch, hugging, being picked up, just being in contact with your parent is an actual need. Like, you can look it up. There's some very disturbing studies out there, from like Russian orphanages and stuff back in the day. But if you just want the basics of it, look up the term touch starved. That was pretty enlightening for me. And then we could get into all the big, more classic traumatic things. But I think you're beginning to get the picture. When we are young, really any time before about the age of 25, our brains are still developing, and we also don't have a lot of the resources emotionally and cognitively to navigate pretty big life situations. In a healthy situation, you would have caregivers, adults around you, or peers that were supportive and understanding and had some of the skills that you don't have yet. So they'd be able to model those skills by using them in their own lives just around you, or recognize when you need assistance developing those skills, even if it's an unconscious kind of recognition, and just coming to like comfort and guide you, right? Just being there, helping you sit with your emotions by showing up and letting you cry it out, right? It seems pretty simple, and in some cases it's very intuitive and just happens naturally. In a lot of cases it doesn't. When you as an adult haven't done your own healing work and you really don't have those skills yourself, you don't intuitively naturally do this. You don't pick up on the lack of it in your child, and you certainly can't show them how to do something that you don't know how to do.